fucking idiots!
Can they take the lead on this drive?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we're talking about the NFL today, and the New York Jets haven't changed.
Oh no! We suck again!
That's right, the New York Jets have released Chris Streveler. So I'm not sure if you guys have been following this story. I have, because Streveler is my boy.
My boy Streveler!
But first, before we get into that, we got to talk about today's sponsor, which is BetStamp. Now, BetStamp is not a traditional sports betting website. It does not offer you one money line. It will actually offer you many money lines from a variety of sources and other betting websites. So that way you can make the most for every bet you make. So make sure when you download it from the App Store, or if you use the link in the description below to the website, you will use code CFL Central, so that way they know that you're coming from us and you're saving money. So that way you can make the most out of your bets and get the biggest possible payout instead of whatever just your app will offer you. So thanks again to BetStamp for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it. So Streveler, let's wind it back a bit. So Streveler used to play for the Bombers. He was a backup quarterback, but was excellent in the running game. You put him on for short yardage, and he got it every single time, no question. And then eventually he would get signed into the NFL. It was a bit of a shock at first, like I said, he was the backup, but he was really, really proficient at that skill. So it was really good having him as a backup, because you could if you had a solid starter, you could ensure you could get that. And even Streveler's throwing game was improving. Now, it wasn't perfect. He did throw some picks. However, it was getting better, and the NFL definitely were able to teach him a lot more on the throwing side of things, and he learned. So he spent some time at the Cardinals, got released, went over to the Baltimore Ravens, got released, and then recently was with the Jets. Now, he was with the Jets this preseason, the New York Jets, that is, not the Winnipeg Jets. We'll get into why that banner's there, because there's reasons that's there. I will explain that. And so I want to first clarify that he has been fantastic this preseason in the NFL with 5 touchdowns. I think only 1 interception. I think it was 277 yards, 24 for 33 attempts. I could be wrong here, so somebody can check, but I believe that's what I remember, because I was looking at that for a while, just being completely dumbfounded how the New York Jets could have made such a stupid decision. I'm sorry, I'm calling it that. I'm stupid. Stupid. In which their coach, which, my apologies if I butcher his name, Robert Saleh, I think, is his name, said this. He's had a whirlwind few weeks, coming off one of the greatest preseasons in the history of football. Not the history of the NFL, not the history of the CFL, not one of the best in the past 20 years, not the best past 10 years, not 30 years, not 40, in the history of the sport. The history of the sport. Okay? And it's funny because if you looked at the social media, you could tell that Jets fans in New York were loving him. He was like, this is Mr. August, this is our boy, he is getting everything done. And just like that, the New York Jets turn their back and betray Chris Streveler with this move. They do. They do, because they hyped him up so much. It seemed beyond obvious that this is going to be a guy you'd run with. Not even necessarily as the starter, but someone on your roster. He has earned his spot. I don't care what anybody says. And now this brings up a bigger issue, which is why this fucking banner is here. It's because the Jets management, the Winnipeg Jets management of the NHL, has been pissing us off recently. And now, well, they're not the only Jets to apparently have shit management, or at least shittiness in their management, as there is a clear miscommunication and there is a clear separation between the coach and the general manager or the owner making the decisions up there. Because the coach was able to give that level of high praise. He was able to say that it was one of the most impressive, preseason performance in the history of the sport. In the history of the sport. So there's no way that coach then turns around and says, oh yeah, fuck the guy. Just get the fuck out of here. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. It's clear that this was a decision from above, but it's like, you couldn't have had him on the roster, even as a third. I understand that's insulting, but you didn't have to throw the guy straight in the bin. I'm mad about this. I'm mad. My boy Streveler deserves better. He's earned his spot, and it's just infuriating to see this happen. So I'm going to go into a little bit of this article here, as I think it's quite interesting. It says, he told me we would talk next weekend. By then, I'm thinking surely he'd be part of the Jets' 53-man roster, preparing for their NFL lid lifter in 2 weeks. That's everyone's goal, Streveler said, post-game in New York on Sunday. I'm just really, really thankful for the opportunity to be here, and I've gotten so many opportunities with this team. Of course he's saying that, Now, I'm not going to lie. If I was Streveler, I would be pissed right now because he doesn't deserve this. But he's saying that because he's a really humble guy, and that he is thankful for his opportunity. However, it's also one of those things where you have to realize that he has taken advantage of that opportunity and made the absolute most. There's nothing more Streveler could have done here. There's nothing more a team that can ask for. I don't see how our NFL team doesn't pick him up. You know what? I would love to see him come back to the Bombers. I don't even think he comes back to the Bombers if he goes to the CFL. I think the Lions pick him up with the QB issues they're having. You got Nathan Rourke out now. You have O'Connor out, and it's a bit of a mess there in terms of QB, just with injuries. So I think it'd be a smart move for the Lions to pick him up. Bombers don't really have the cap. They only have a cap for about one more player, and it has to be the kicker. It has to be. Because you know what? I love Streveler, and I would love to see Streveler back in Winnipeg. But Prukop and Brown have done solid, so I don't think the Bombers see that cap hit as necessary to bring in Streveler, as fantastic as that would be. I see them going for a kicker. But anyways, going back towards this, incredibly, by the end of Monday, it appeared the 2019 Grey Cup winner hadn't done enough to stay with the Jets. At least one report he'd be released on Tuesday. What more could the guy have done? That quote about one of the greatest preseasons in football history, it came from the Jets head coach after Streveler came off the bench on Sunday to throw 2 fourth-quarter touchdown passes, one with 22 seconds left on the clock, to defeat their biggest rivals in the New York Giants 31-27. One Sunday fluke, though? Hardly. A week later, he brought the Jets back from a 16-3 deficit, throwing for 119 yards and a touchdown as his team beat Atlanta 24-16. The week before that, he had tossed 2 touchdown passes in relief, both in the fourth quarter, including the game winner with 16 seconds left, 24-21 to win at Philadelphia. What more can you ask for? How? I don't get this. Please, someone enlighten me on how this makes sense in any capacity. I'm infuriated by this. My boy Streveler deserves better. And honestly, I didn't exactly know where I was going with this video. I knew I was mad. Because what the fuck? What the fuck? He's been looking to really settle down with an NFL squad and have a consistent spot. He's been bouncing around a little bit. And I know he's been hoping to kind of settle down and get something figured out. I really thought he had it here. I literally was considering, if he continued this success in New York and if he stuck around for a bit, I was considering buying a jersey because I love Streveler. But now that's not happening. Now, like I said earlier, I think an NFL team has to pick him up after that performance and after the outcry of people, and fans being just appalled by the Jets' dumbfoundingly stupid decision to get rid of this guy. that someone's got to take advantage of this. I could see the Lions taking a shot at him. What would be really hilarious is if the Giants signed him. Oh. As someone who really doesn't have an emotional stake in almost any NFL game, to be honest, as much as there's teams I like slightly more than others, I more root for players like, I like seeing Drew Desjardins doing well. Or like I was hoping when he signed with the Patriots, I was like, I hope he does well there. Same way when Streveler signed and everywhere he signed, I really wanted him to do well. And so I just hope for those CFL talent, and specifically Bomber talent, to just succeed in the National Football League. And this is I'm curious to see where Streveler goes. I don't see how an NFL team doesn't pick him up. After this, it's like someone's not going to be willing to give this guy a shot at the regular season. I understand that he's not going to be able to put up those numbers in the regular season. That's fair to say. But to not even give him the opportunity after showing that he has deserved it, he has earned it in every single capacity, and there's nothing more he could have done. He has saved his team from being down. He's shown he can play in the clutch with two game winners in terms of touchdowns with under 30 seconds left on the clock for 2 of those games. What the hell? So, yeah, like I said, that's why this Jets banner up, is because it represents Jets and mismanagement. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a very different video because I'm very annoyed about this stupidity. And I'll see you guys later.